As soon as those lights go off before we come out, the switch gets turned on. We come out, we're like, I change.
It's kind of like the inner demons come out, and then off stage, like you're a completely different person.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go shut the stage lights. And we're gonna go back.
This was kind of like therapy for us when we started, and it still is.
You know, if I wasn't in the band with these 4 other guys, I definitely wouldn't do it.
This band has a way of saving lives, you know, and it keeps us alive.
We're definitely a band that wants to save your life.
What does your shirt say, dude? MCR saved my life. That's the fucking real point of all this.
First time it saved my life was when I was super depressed. And on a lot of antidepressants, and I wasn't going to do anything with my life. The second time it saved my life was when I was an alcoholic and depressed and suicidal.
I never said I'd lie and wait forever.
So it saved my life, and it's there to save other people's lives.
I wanted to make music that impacted people's lives.
I think what we get to do together, the music that we create together, is one of a kind, and it's just really special.
We all love to play, but that's really not why we all started this. You know, it wasn't because we loved to play. It's because we had a purpose. The message, we've always been pretty adamant or vocal about our message. Just to know that it's okay to be messed up, because there's 5 dudes that are just as messed up as you, and we've overcome that in order to do what we do.
The strengths of this band are what, to me, the combination of what Gerard does against what the guitars are doing, and the vision that they have for their music, and that fact that every time they do a video or they did the record, it has a coherent vision.
The band definitely has a lot of 5 distinct personalities.
What's up, dude? Mikey, I remember when he was a baby. We've always been really close.
I think Mikey keeps us from losing our minds.
Yeah.
Mikey!
In having him out, it's kind of like he's everybody's kid brother.
I try to be the spiritual advisor for the band.
He inspires me in so many ways. He is so talented. I think sometimes he doesn't quite realize how special or talented he is.
Frank, he really plays with all his heart. When he plays, he really looks like, he's putting every single ounce of his body and soul into that performance.
I get hurt every fucking day. I'm an idiot. The worst was when I broke my toes.
Did you get kicked in the balls by someone named Frankie? You kicked him hard.
It just hurt, but I didn't care. But I was wondering what he was doing over there. In the first place, I was like, yo, he's playing over here. And then when he kicked me in the balls, I was like, what did I do?
Well, how would you consider me? I'm sort of like
The quiet genius.
Yeah, mastermind.
Mastermind. The man with the plan.
The man with the plan.
Ray Toro. It's an honor to play with Ray Toro. I think he's truly like a genius. He cares so much about music and not about being famous or being a rock star.
I'm kind of bummed that I didn't hang out more with people because I was too busy being a complete and utter hermit in the back. A man obsessed is what I've been called.
Bob is such an amazing person. Him and Toro are the hardest working people I've ever met.
Bob is
Muscle.
the muscle.
Bob, ow! Bob, my head!
Are you gonna get out?
Bob will tell you when you're wrong.
Stop.
Just come on in!
Stop.
Bob is definitely take no shit.
He doesn't take any
No shit
shit.
from anybody.
Stupid fucking camera away from me.
And he teaches us all never to take any shit.
I've fallen into him and almost killed him a few times, and he doesn't ever get mad at me.
It's so hard not to push you off the drum.
If there's a God, I thank him every day for bringing us Bob.
Gerard. He's always been my older brother. And not only that, he's also my best friend.
Gerard is sort of the slightly off-center leader, I guess.
I don't know, he's like a genius, He's now like looked up to by hundreds of thousands of kids as like a cult icon. I'm really proud of him.
You guys from New Jersey?
We're very proud of where we're from.
How long have you guys been together?
3 years.
Yeah?
The band is based in New Jersey.
Jersey is like a mecca for music because you have millions of people living in this tiny state, and a lot of them make music.
I'm the only one that's not from New Jersey. I'm there a lot though, so I can deal with these guys.
New Jersey!
Where we're from is very different from most Jersey bands, which is important to know about us because it's not like a money area. It's a very dangerous area. It's a very crime-ridden area.
Your parents wouldn't let you go outside of the house after a certain hour because, a week before they found a dead body in, the local park that kids go to play in.
My mom was just really apprehensive about me and Gerard going out and playing.
There's a lot of, shootings, drug-related crimes, murders, things like that, mafia-related crimes.
And this is a park called West Hudson Park that's like right around the corner from my house, where they found, I think, at least like 4 or 5 dead bodies in the pond like over the last couple of years.
So as kids, you couldn't really go out and play.
He calls the mansion not a house but a tomb.
I think that's why we're so into like horror movies.
Wedding party all collapsed in the room. So send my resignation to the bride and the groom.
Yeah, that's the only beam of sunlight that comes into my room. Mom, come on, be in my video. I'm so into this thing.
That's freaky, that bat.
Yeah, that's my grandfather's paperweight.
Oh, you got it? Like, wait, I'll show you the shit you have to shoot in here. This is like Jersey.
What I had to do, and my brother had to do, was really just create our own kind of space in our heads. That's why there's such a fantasy element to My Chemical Romance. Like, I drew pictures, I wrote stories, I made stories up, I lied a lot, I kind of lived in my head. It's because as children, we had to develop these kind of things to live in because you couldn't really live in the real world as a child. You couldn't go outside and play.
I definitely feel like no matter where we go, where we tour, stuff like that, like I'm not scared of the places or the people there, unless we're in Detroit.
I think the only place that actually scared the shit out of me is the Tenderloin. That's because we walked out of in San Francisco, we walked off the bus in my makeup and costume, and this dude across the street in front of a crack house just goes, "Better stay on that side of the street, motherfucker. I'll knock you out."
Come on, New Jersey! To the vows you take, to the life you bring, to the heart you break, and all the cyanide you drink. Bring it down!
When I was growing up, my dad worked at the post office. He worked in like the shipping department.
The real story behind me singing is my grandma had a lot to do with it.
He was kind of a shy kid when he was really young, and he had all these talents that he was afraid to dwell on because, he was afraid he was going to get made fun of, or he was afraid that he wasn't good enough at them. And one of the abilities was singing, and at a young age, he started to explore this voice that he had.
I changed schools when I was a kid. Me and Mikey went to a different public school. And it was 4th grade. It was kind of like a new slate. It was really weird, And so I thought maybe I'll try things. Like I drew a lot more. I got involved in art programs and stuff. And there was like this drama club they had, and I said, well, let me just try this.
One of the earliest memories of that was we had a school play.
They had this production of Peter Pan, which is usually played by a girl, so I don't know how cool this is that I got the part, but I just kind of opened my mouth and was able to sing. And then my grandma was really excited about it. I wasn't so excited about it. I guess I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. Then after I got the part, I kind of was stuck into doing it.
And he sang, and he was Peter Pan, and he nailed it.
The song was called "I Don't Want to Grow Up," And the lyrics are like, I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up. Not a penny will I pinch. I will never wear a mustache, or never grow a mustache, or a fraction of an inch. It's just a song.
Sounds like a Descendants song.
Yeah, it kind of does. And she made me this outfit. And it's green tights. Everything I had built, I had ruined. Because I had kind of wanted to escape my old elementary school. So, of course, it's a great idea to play fucking Peter Pan your first year, right? In a new school. So, after that experience, the drama teacher was really into my voice, and she would always get me to sing stuff for school functions and stuff. And then as soon as I hit middle school is kind of the point where you're like, wait a minute, I used to hang out with like all these kids and we used to all be friends, and now it's all about popularity.
He kind of shied away from it for a long time because it's like, you know, just like awkwardness of growing up.
I was like, well, I don't want to be this weird singer kid anymore, you know? And I was into a lot of other stuff, like I was into comic books and Iron Maiden, and it just wasn't my thing. So I kind of turned my back on it. And then I thought I was going to be in a rock band and play guitar.
He plays like a little bit.
I wasn't very good.
I mean, he's not good enough to, you know, to play live, I think, but he's good enough where he can come up with really interesting riffs.
I joined this band I was really psyched on. I couldn't play Sweet Home Alabama on guitar, and I got kicked out.
In the middle of a gunfight, in the center of a restaurant, they say, come with your arms raised high. Well, they're never gonna get me. Well, like a bullet through fly guitars.
Some of the bands and artists that have had a big effect on our music, pretty varied, at least from my end. I was kind of introduced to music through my older brother. You know, he was listening to, you know, Zeppelin, The Doors, and The Who, and, you know, tons of stuff like that. He was also into, you know, metal, which was cool. And, you know, he got me listening to Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Molly Hatchet.
Growing up, me and Gerard had always traded, at the time I guess it was tapes, of bands that we'd both been really into.
It was, for me first, it was Iron Maiden. I got into Iron Maiden and that changed everything.
Me and him were both obsessed with Iron Maiden.
It gave me that theater influence, then another theater-esque band, but the first punk band I was ever into was the Misfits.
You know, it was a lot of punk bands, the Misfits.
The Misfits are so important in New Jersey because, like, they're from Lodi, which is near us, but they were legends in Jersey, and like you still felt it to this day. You could still feel it if you're in Jersey. Like the Misfits owned New Jersey. So in liking punk rock and loving it, I found Black Flag.
Of course, Black Flag, like, just listening to Greg Ginn play. Growing up, like, I didn't want to be Van Halen. I wanted to be Greg Ginn.
Black Flag was the band that got me obsessed for some reason with the concept of revenge, and I think that I was obsessed with revenge because in high school I was such an outcast and I was always fantasizing, and I had these like revenge fantasies.
There was a feeling behind it. There was this noise and this angst, and you felt that.
So there was always going to be an element of punk in my chem, that just this fast, aggressive, beautiful stuff.
And early on, me and Gerard had this crazy fascination with two people, and it was Glenn Danzig and Morrissey.
Then came the Smiths, and that was a huge, impactful band on us. And his storytelling, his lyrics, how bleak it was in contrast to how pop it was.
Who's gonna see Morrissey tomorrow here? Fuck yeah, dude. What, like 10 of you?
We were talking about starting a band, like what would be like an ideal band that we'd want to listen to, and we always said, like, wouldn't a band be great if it was like Morrissey were in the Misfits? And I was like, man, that'd be such a kick-ass band, and we should really try it someday.
You are fucking incredible! Are you ready? Okay,
far as how we all met, I met Mikey and Gerard, I guess a couple of years after I graduated high school. I met them through a mutual friend of mine, Sean.
You went to school with some guy named Sean Dillon.
I met Ray Toro through a friend in art school.
I had met him, and we were all just kind of all into the same stuff, like comic books, horror movies, and music.
Did you guys hit it off right away?
Yeah, we all became friends and hung out all the time and stuff.
It was a very quick friendship with everybody. I remember the first time I think I met you was at this diner. I just remember the one thing I remembered about him the first time I met him was the way he wore his glasses.
They were at the end of my nose.
Yeah, he wore them at the very end of his nose, and he kept his head up like this.
Yeah.
And would look through his glasses like this. The most bizarre thing, and I just thought it was just this really weird kid. I was actually a little closer to Mikey than Gerard. Yeah, and Gerard was, kind of this like sort of introverted artist, never really left the house. Gerard kind of like, over the years me knowing him, I rarely saw him, like I just knew him as the kid who would like draw comic books. I really didn't see him anywhere except for either in his house or later on at the practice studio. Like as like years went by, like we jammed a couple times, like in various bands.
When I was in art school, I decided, let me try being in some punk bands because it'd be fun. I still wasn't really singing.
I played bass in a band called Nancy Drew that he had gotten together. It was like this like pop punk band kind of thing. And like they just played one show. As far as I know, it was like at a skate park kind of thing. And I mean, it was nothing special. It's just like a pop punk band. So.
Did you and Mikey always play together in bands? Like, is this? We played in a band a long time ago.
We had a band together called Ray Gun Jones, me and him. It was when I was in art school.
Like, we were in this one band a long time ago called Ray Gun Jones, and he was the vocalist and I was the bass player. And then later on, like, we kind of both pursued other projects, sort of.
We kind of kept in touch. We were friends, but not like, we didn't hang out all the time or anything. We were just very casual friends, but we still kept in touch.
So basically, I just did this. I went back to doing art and gave up again, and wasn't really, still not singing. I didn't know how I sang. So then after art school, when I wanted to start the band, after kind of failing at being able to make a career in comics, I said, let me just try it again.
Who started the band?
I picked up a phone and pretty much called everybody. The response I got from a lot of people, like, you sure you want to do this? All right, if you sure that's what you want to do? I thought you were going to be an artist. And I was like, I got a good feeling about it.
Not too long after 9/11 happened, Gerard had given me a call and told me that he was, I hadn't heard from him in a long time.
So what brought all you guys together? That's what I was
basically the telephone, picking it up, calling people you haven't seen in years, going, are you kind of happy with what you're doing in your life? And then having them say no, and me saying, I'm not happy either. Let's try maybe doing a band again and see what happens. And it was kind of a last-ditch effort for everybody.
Realistically, I had called up Matt right after September 11th. I guess it was more like October.
Gerard was on a ferry going to work as a comic book artist. He was drawing, I think, for the Cartoon Network, and witnessed the Trade Center towers going down. I'm pretty sure that he saw the bodies falling from the building. That's when he said, what am I doing with my life? I'm slaving away drawing pictures for corporations and not helping anybody and not making anything in life meaningful for anybody else. He went home and I believe he wrote Skylines and Turnstiles.
It's an old song for you guys.
I had that song about September 11th, kind of my way of getting over it.
This was kind of like therapy for us when we started, and it still is.
And I said, just listen to it. And so I played it for him and sang it. We played it together, and we just loved the way it sounded.
You're not in this alone. Let me break this awkward silence. Let me go.
And we were like, all right, well, we need a guitar player because I can't sing and play guitar at all. Save my life. So we got him, and he came to the first practice.
And he had just given me a call and was like, hey, I'm working on some new stuff and I want you to check it out. I brought my guitar over. Yeah, and it was awesome because I hadn't been playing guitar for like a year and a half, I was playing drums in a crappy, just like a fun like punk rock band. I never played drums before, and I always wanted to play drums, so I sucked at it.
They say they played like a lot of punk shows. I was really into the scene, and I never saw or heard of their band.
And when I found out he was playing drums in a band, it just bummed me out. Because I thought, like, he's the greatest guitar player I know, like hands down. And I've met a lot at that point. I've been around, I've been to art school, I've seen a lot of bands, and to me, in Jersey, there was nobody that could beat him. I thought he was the best.
And they finished Skylines and Turnstiles, which was the first song I think that was ever written by My Chemical Romance.
That's if you still got one man's left inside that cave you call our town.
I guess the rest is history.
In the beginning, when the band was starting out, did things click right away? Did you know this is so happening, or did you start out sucking?
Right away.
Like when our first practice, the one thing that I noticed most was like how much he gave his vocal performance. You know, like he just really went for it.
It was really the first time I had really sang since I was a little kid. It was nice to find out I was still able to do that, and I was able to do it well.
He came to me with the demo that became My Chemical Romance.
Have you ever heard the Attic demos? Because that's all I heard when I first joined the band.
The what?
The Attic demos. It's not together, nothing's in tune, but there was just something about it where you could already imagine what it would sound like put together, and it was really good. And my band would listen to that demo to and from shows. Like it would get us psyched up to go play.
And I heard it, and I was like, wow, he's fucking got it. You know, like his voice had just made leaps and bounds.
I kind of felt like I had a little bit of a gift, and I was like, all right, cool, like I could use this, you know? Like this will really enhance the band.
Dude, you look fucking freaky in night vision.
Do I?
Hey, you guys want to help me check? I'm gonna say check, and then you guys say check.
You know, there's something about having a really good band name, too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just right off the bat.
We are My Chemical!
I remember when, you know, they first came up with that, people were like, oh, so what are you going to call it? And they were like, My Chemical Romance. And I was like, wow, that's good.
yeah, that was the vibe in Jersey. People
like,
were just like, damn, I didn't think of that.
Let me hear you, New Jersey! Give me your joy! Give me your consent! Give me your open heart to make me.
The name of the band,
Me and Mikey were working at a Barnes & Noble together.
Clifton, New Jersey.
He actually got me the job because I was a college graduate that couldn't get a job at a bookstore. And it was actually the best shitty job we ever had. He worked in music, I worked in books.
My good friend Brian Malloy was the manager at the time. And me and him would always talk about like British music, like all sorts of like culture from there and whatnot. And we got onto talking about Irvine Welsh one day.
He's a Scottish guy who wrote Trainspotting. That movie's whole vibe we were kind of into, you know, Acid House, stuff like that. Such a good movie.
He'd grabbed a stack of Irvine Welsh books and brought them in the back, and we were just talking about, you know, all the different ones and whatnot.
And Mikey had saw this little blurb. It was either on the inside or the back cover. It says like 5 Tales of Chemical Romance by Irvine Welsh.
Like the phrase "chemical romance" caught my eye for some reason. Like I was just like flipping through the backs, like reading what each book was about. I don't know, the term just kind of struck me. I was like really shocked that nobody had used that in some sort of a band name before.
He was like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you put a "my" in front of that, made it My Chemical Romance?
I kind of threw the "my" on to kind of give it a little twist.
And it was awesome because it just was, there was no band. It was just the band name. Ever since he came up with that band name, it just felt like you needed to kind of start a band just so you could use that name. And then when he joined the band,
He was actually a little hesitant about giving us the name. It was that good.
He's like that with band. He
Yeah.
comes up with good band
He
names.
just came up with another one called the New London Fire.
No.
And somebody has that. He's just he's a good band namer. So he was always saying like, oh, this is cool if you made a band called My Chemical Romance. So then I started the band. We didn't have any names. When Mikey joined the band, we were like, Mikey.
We could be perfect, one that has me. And I like star-crossed lovers when we fight and we can say.
We have his band name because it pretty much fits. I was on Wellbutrin at the time, so it made a lot of sense for me. That's why I wanted the band name so much. It meant so much more than drug addiction. It was, for me, it meant antidepressants. Later on, it obviously would turn into drug addiction.
I was in another band, and they started, and I became a huge fan of the band.
Well, the funny thing is, Frank and Patsy Prep really kind of discovered us in a way. I met Frank because his band gave us our first practice space. His old band, Patsy Prep.
Is that how you knew him? Because
Yeah.
you guys were in the same studio?
Well, I knew them actually just going to parties at the Eyeball Records house, because I was on Eyeball Records. And it was like being a fan of your best friend's band, kind of thing. So it wasn't like, oh, you have your autograph type thing. It was like, all right, I'll watch you guys practice every day because you practice the same studio as us.
And I got MCR like their first 11 shows because my cousin put on shows.
And I remember getting up on a chair and watching the first My Chem show.
We were terrified.
You're drunk.
We were drunk. Mikey was really drunk.
Yeah.
Me and Mikey had to go pound a bunch of beer in their van. We couldn't believe we were about to do it. We were just terrified, We knew something potentially special was about to happen, but we weren't sure. We weren't so well received upon just the first song. I don't know what happened. And I remember we played Skylines and Turnstiles, and the place blew up. I mean, there was only 60, 70 kids there, but they were mad into it. And I was just like, wow, I think we got something. And I know I looked at Toro and we were kind of like, all right, we were right about this. And then I have it go from something I would do twice a week.
This song's called Vampires Will Never Hurt You. If you know the words, sing along, please.
To something that is my life and just took off really fast. I had a t-shirt on
That's it. Thank you for the venom.
at that show. I made it myself. That's how far in advance I would plan things.
And if they get me and the sun goes down.
I figured out what's up with the camera.
What?
It's Brian Schechter's sneaky way of spying on us.
No, wait till you meet Brian, dude.
Oh.
He's an intimidating dude. He's a little scrappy.
I was a tour manager, and I would tour nonstop and get demos. And so I heard My Chemical Romance and knew they were the band that I would get off the road for, that I would invest all of my time and life savings in. And I flew to see them 4 days after I heard it, and knew right then that I wanted to manage them. They were playing at Maxwell's in Hoboken. I saw them August 15th or 16th, 2002.
How soon did it take to become really good friends with those guys?
Took a long time. Like February 17th of 2003 is when they hired me.
And if the sun comes up, will it tear the skin right off?
Wait, you guys were on the Eyeball?
Yeah, we're on Eyeball Records.
Oh, you're still on?
Oh no, we were.
Were on the first record. What was that experience like? Good, bad, and
It was fine. The first record was made to kind of capture a moment in time and also to have something to tour with. We kind of captured really the genesis of the band on the CD. We were only a band 3 months when we made that record, and all the songs that were on that record are the only ones we had. Things were all very new. Frank had just joined the band.
Weird.
Yeah, it was
Just joined the band and run into the studio.
Yeah, it was 2 days before or something.
We decided that we needed another guitar player to join the band, and it was kind of It was scary for me.
And,
What was your other label? I mean, other band? Sorry.
It was called Quincy Private.
Okay.
And then that ended, and I formed a band called I'm a Graveyard. And then that ended too.
We asked Frank to join the band.
They were like, hey, we're looking for another guitarist. Would you want to join? And I was like, definitely. This is my favorite band.
And I was kind of, skeptical because, like, I'd never played with anybody else before.
Me and Ray styles are two styles that shouldn't work together but do. Ray grew up learning Metallica records.
Then I know Frankie is he's more the punk rock kid. We had a couple of practices, and I just knew that it would work. Like he had a different approach to guitar than me, and was able to write parts that my ear would never hear.
Some of the stuff he could never do, I could never do. And some of the stuff he does, I never would want to do. The shit that he does just fucking blows my mind.
So I got to join my favorite band and record a record with them, which was the first one, probably my both.
And Frank played on 2 of the tracks off the first record. One of them is Early Sunsets Over Monroeville. He just plays some great parts.
When we were doing Monroeville, Ray was laying down his parts, and as soon as he was done, I took the parts that they had recorded into a van that had no heat outside the studio and wrote what I was gonna play.
A lot of the melody that he plays during the verses and the choruses is just, absolutely beautiful, and I think really makes those songs work. Making the first record was a really amazing experience. The band was together maybe like six months.
A few months, yeah, not even a year. We were a band.
The experience was we worked with a dude named John Clario, who was awesome.
He recorded, I think, every band in Jersey, New York, any band that had their shit together.
He had built himself this studio in his mother's basement.
Not a studio.
Yeah,
John Clario's basement.
That had started to really thrive.
One of the funnier things was us having to stop recording every once in a while because his mother was upstairs vacuuming.
Alex from Eyeball put us in there.
And he was awesome at what he did. It was great, just great. It was just great fun working with him. He had a great ear for harmonies.
So then Jeff came in to produce it from Thursday.
We were able to work with Jeff Rickley, which was great. He's another one of those guys. Just has a great ear for melody.
Gerard was a good friend of ours before the whole My Chemical Romance explosion.
I love that band, My Chemical Romance. It's a jam.
He taught Gerard a lot about delivery.
It was kind of like hanging out with one of your really good friends and making something together, making a record with all your friends.
As small and whatnot as the studio seemed like when we were doing it, it seemed like we were making the biggest record.
Now, unfortunately, I had this problem where a tooth. I went to 6 or 7 hospitals during the making of that record.
Well, didn't he have a rotted tooth or something?
Yeah, Gerard went through a lot of. Gerard went through a lot of shit.
Because I had a tooth that had an abscess in it, and nobody could figure it out.
He was in tremendous pain for when doing vocals for the last couple tracks.
It was the worst pain I'd felt in my life, so it was really difficult to finish the vocals on that record, and we didn't have a lot of time, we didn't have a lot of money.
The amount of pills I've taken, cataracts of booze I've taken, and this vanity I'm breaking, lets me live my life like this, and when I find it hard to stay with the words you say, open in the night, open in the night.
I wrote the lyrics for This Is the Best Day Ever the morning of, and I remember hopping in a car, getting Dunkin' Donuts, still having not finished them.
We really had no identity. To me at least, you know, every song on that first record sounds very different from the next. And that's I think that's one of my favorite things about our band.
How much you'll invest yourself in me?
There's not one set style.
You know, if I could pinpoint the most important songs on that record, the most important song is Head First for Halo. Why it's important is that it's a song that kind of started as a joke. But it's the song that I had said to the guys, if we can pull this song off, if we could accomplish this, and do it believably, like if we believe in the song could work for this band, we won't ever be pigeonholed.
Well, let's go back to the middle of the day, that's nothing all. Oh, I can't begin to let you know just what I'm feeling.
I think Vampires is also important because it really locked in that darkness.
The aesthetic of the band seems to come largely from Gerard and his sort of interest in, you know, dark imagery.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that something that you vibe with as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, like, he tells me I have to wear these gloves all the time. I mean, we all grew up, like, you know, like, from Jersey, so it's dark to begin with.
So, you know, it was, I don't know if we were really ready for it, but we were ready to tour. So that's what mattered, and we were ready to really take on the world.
Touring is the most important thing to this band. I think playing as a live band is the most important thing. I think if we didn't have that, we would have never got off the ground so quickly.
When I met Gerard and Mike Hem, there were 2 booking agents that were after them. And booking agents are kind of like managers, which are kind of like record companies, where they kind of court the band and say, hey, you know, we're gonna do this for you.
We played a show in Boston.
Yeah.
Which is, what was it?
Skate Fest.
Skate Fest. What an amazing show that was, too.
It was.
Like,
The first time kids sang along. And then after that, Matt Kelly booked us.
Matt Kelly called us up and was like, hey, I like your band. And we were like, wow, we like you.
Yeah, we like you, man. You know, without exaggeration, we basically had about a 2.5-year run.
He became our booking agent. He put us on tour with, first tour was a band called North Star.
North Star.
And we toured with them for, well, maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We were like, oh my God, 2-week tours.
So hard. Well, we broke down 4 times.
Yeah.
So
I got in the van and I left. And on my second tour with this band, I got a scorpion tattooed on my neck as high as I possibly could, so that I couldn't get a job. And my dad called me up and said, oh, he freaked out.
And it's not like we made money, but you could kind of self-sustain on the road.
Ooh, the winnings. Wow.
Like, in the beginning, all we got was water and, like, occasionally a bag of chips and salsa, and occasionally buyouts, so you can live off that, in a way.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that I dreamed about it from the time I was 7 years old on. I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to play live in front of people. You know, I was like, I'll give up anything in the world if I could be able to do this, and I have, you know.
Have your parents been real supportive?
Yeah, I mean, they always wanted me to play, because my dad and my grandfather played. My mom, she, since I was 11, let me practice in my basement, you know, with bands, and to the point where she couldn't even sleep.
I've lost friends. I've lost scholastic careers.
Frank and Mikey are college dropouts. Ray finished college, I believe, Or he's pretty close, I think.
But when I quit college, they were very upset about that. They wanted me to, have something to fall back on, and I totally agree. I should, I still should. And it's not that I didn't want to get my education, but I felt that opportunity was calling me at that moment, and I was in the right band, and we were touring. And I felt that college had nothing for me at that point because this is all I ever wanted to do.
So really, I don't have to work. I didn't have to work. I didn't have really any bills. I had a student loan. I didn't have a cell phone at the time. There's a lot of elements to it, so it was cool. It was kind of like you're poor and you're starving all the time, but you're kind of roughing it, and it's really cool,
They had a great time doing that. It really made them grow up as people.
There's been a couple times where I've been left at truck stops, and the band's kind of driven a couple miles down the road, and I have to call them on my cell phone. Call them on the cell phone, and it's like, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, how's it going, man? And I'm like, you notice something's missing from the van? And they kind of look around and they're like, ah, shit. And then I have to turn around.
Just so you know, we ran out of time.
Just so you know.
At least we're in a populated area, and there's stuff to do.
Then we did a tour with a band called Hopes Fall.
And then came Under Oath.
Yes. And Under Oath they were big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a big band.
To us, yeah.
They had a trailer.
Yeah, and a lot of merch and shit.
Yeah. Every day we'd go up and ask for t-shirts because we didn't have any clothes.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they were so nice to us. They were like, yo, if you need anything, let us know. We'd eat their food.
They were so good to us.
Took all their t-shirts.
And then Taking Back Sunday took them on a tour with, it was Taking Back Sunday, From Autumn to Ashes, Recover, and My Chemical Romance. And it was just this instant friendship formed between Take It Back Sunday and My Chemical Romance. And they had fun touring. And then they went straight from the Take It Back Sunday tour into a Used tour.
I'll kiss your lips again.
I was tour managing a band called Vendetta Red, and I had become friends with the Used, and because they were touring together. And Bert was just like my little brother, and I loved him and his band so much. And then Gerard was this new kind of friend I had, and I really wanted them to get together. And so I introduced Gerard to Bert.
He introduced me to Bert from the Used. And we met in a pizzeria. I think he was really strange. I thought, he was a really weird guy when I first met him.
Who's your favorite member of My Chemical Romance?
The singer.
And then I became the Used tour manager.
What's his name again?
Jared.
I said, why don't you take this band on tour? And Bert said, let's take this band on tour. And so they took him, the Used took My Chem on tour.
He heard the record, brought us on tour, and we kind of all became friends, great friends, just from touring.
And so My Chem, who was this little band from New Jersey that had been used to playing basements, would travel around in their little van and trailer and slug it out and get there and killed it every night.
Yeah, so but my whole family is very supportive, and I don't think they understood how good the things were going until we made the Trenton local paper, and that's what they read. So
right,
freaked out. we made the Trentonian.
They just went in and slowly started winning new fans. And selling more merch, and that's really how you could put it in a barometer of seeing what was working.
We are extremely involved in every creative element of this band, down to the t-shirts.
Chemical Romance only in this line.
It's a packed house in here, man.
That's not too bad.
Oh, wait till everybody else comes in with all this merch.
Oh, right. The merch kind of killed today.
The more merch they sold, the bigger their band was, because nobody could find the record because it just wasn't in store. The distribution for it wasn't really well.
Just like the hurricane, time again and again. We are so far from
I don't know what it was about this band. You know, it was the way the guitars and vocals worked, and it hit you.
You had this really magical genesis happening where you're touching on something you knew never existed before, and it was very special, and you felt it in your heart. You're like, wow, this is a great band. Like, if we don't fuck this up, this could be legendary.
And at that point is when I stepped in and said, okay, you're now going to go tour Europe, which they had never done, and they've never even left the United States. They went to Europe, and they did it in a van. They did it the same way that they did it in the U.S., and it was hell. And I spent all of my life savings paying for it because they didn't have the money to do it. They were blown away because they went and played in Germany as this little band from New Jersey, and then they showed up in Spain, and they show up and there's kids with homemade t-shirts, homemade My Chemical Romance t-shirts in Spain. And we all just kind of like grew as people, and as I grew as a manager, the band grew as a band.
That was definitely a challenge to this band to bring it to the next level, because we were when we started, it was just this totally aggro, cathartic experience where it was just violent and messy and just nuts, and half the shit wasn't even working.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. It was awesome. And then, stuff started to happen, and then stuff needed to work.
Yeah. So give me all your poison, and give me all your pills, and give me all your hopeless hearts and make me ill. You're running after something that you'll never kill. If this is what you want, then fire at will.
Alright, tell me that this is not ridiculous. My Chemical Romance got phone calls from major labels in the practice studio before they even played a show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Maybe the second week I was in the band, we went out for drinks with a major label.
Yeah. Just because we were signed
From
to Jersey.
Like, you couldn't walk down the street without a major label like coming out from an alley and trying to buy you a drink or something.
Yeah.
We were from Jersey.
And we're signed to Eyeball Records.
There was such a signing frenzy going on. There's just major labels everywhere. Like, we played a show in a basement in Philly. 5 people. One of which was a homeless person who bootlegged our set and then tried to sell us the tape afterwards. And another one of the people there was an A&R from a major label.
And then kind of began the process of talking and meeting a lot of A&R people, which we basically kindly told them, leave us all alone.
And basically we were like, this is ridiculous, please let us just be a band.
Yeah. So we waited about like a year before we even signed.
You like being demographic? Something someone can use for evil? Do you like that? Fuck no, you don't. Occasionally, some motherfucker's gonna try to use you for their doomsday device. Do you know what you say to them? You say, you cannot destroy me! You cannot destroy me! This song's for you. It's called Give 'Em Hellcat.
So who's your A&R guy?
Craig Aronson.
So how did My Chemical Romance end up on Reprise Records from Eyeball Records? I think it's just your typical story of how this stuff happens, and it's what I love to see the most from a band. They were on an indie label, Eyeball Records, and they had put out a record on their own. They'd been touring a lot, behind that and building a fan base of their own.
How did you guys come to meet? Did he come sign you?
He flew out to CMJ in New York.
We had long meetings and conversations, you know, me and the band over a long period of time. I think it took 9 months.
And was the reason you went with Craig for any specific reason?
He signed Less Than Jake 2 times. He tried to sign Jimmy World twice. All from moving to different labels. So when he loves a band, there's nothing he'll fight for more than that band, you know? And we saw that.
You know, they spent a lot of time thinking about it, and you know, they were very careful. They wanted to do it at the right pace, and then eventually, after a lot of you know, of really analyzing and seeing if this is the right home for them, we were fortunate enough to, you know, to win their hearts, and they signed with us.
We just got so sick of seeing bands rip off our friends and get huge, just completely mutilating our friends' band's sound, and you know, and just turning it into something, exploiting it, and then getting large off it. We were just like, we don't want to be that band. Like, we don't want that to happen to us. We don't want to not take the chance, have somebody just do a watered down version of us and then get big, and then like, who's gonna get our message then? Like, who's gonna get the point of it, you know? So we said, fuck it, let's do it.
As soon as they were on Warner Brothers, we you know, we went in and started talking about making the record, went in and made the record, and here it is on Reprise. It's again simple, starting out and building in a very natural way.
Well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. I never want to let you down or have you going.
Revenge is really the band. Bullets is the band trying to find itself. By the time we hit Revenge, we had really become My Chemical Romance. When we made Revenge, it was a completely different ballgame.
You know, we had this phase called pre-production.
It was different. You showed up to this big studio, you know, it was a lot like of money and like crazy equipment they had and microphones that cost more than your first car.
What was your first car, Gerard?
It was a Subaru XT. It was silver. Never had to wash it.
You know, it was very strange going from the first record, you know, changing your own guitar strings.
We had a lot of tools at our disposal this time.
To being, you know, playing in a major studio and being able to play like vintage guitars.
And then we met this dude who came in sweatpants and a hockey jersey, and his name was Howard Benson.
The first time I saw the band was in rehearsal. They played a few songs for me.
I remember when he pulled up, and I was just like, somebody order pizza? Something.
Yeah, he's notorious for his sweatpants. Some company was supposed to make him his own signature brand. Like,
are you serious?
All honesty, yeah.
He had made 4 Motorhead records, and that's what got us interested about him.
He was like, yeah, I did Motorhead.
Yeah. Then he's like, yeah, I did Motorhead.
And we were like, oh.
Yeah, I went to Brazil and did Sepultura. It was like the first Pro Tools record ever that I did.
What also got us interested about him was the fact that he contacted us, and that's like how we like to work.
I like the fact that Gerard was into comic. I know it sounds crazy again, but he had a vision. He was into comic books and the whole vision of comic books, and I know he wanted to impart that whole vision to his music and his band.
I mean, lyrically, you know, we wanted to take music to a place that hadn't been in a long time, which was to tell stories and use, you know, kind of these sweeping metaphors instead of just, you broke my heart.
What inspires our songs is being a product of how we grew up, watching a lot of horror movies, reading a lot of comic books, and kind of tempering that with real life. Everything we write about is real. It's just the metaphors we choose in which to describe them. Yeah, it started up as a concept, and then, you know, I found that my real life and the real life of the band had a lot more to do with what the band wanted to talk about.
The best part about Revenge as a record that for all the concept record stuff that's going on in it and all the fiction and everything, when you really break down the record, it's a record that, you know, worldwide people love. That's about 2 little boys that lose their grandma.
In November, me and Mikey had lost our grandma, and that kind of changed the way the record went at that point.
When Gerard and Mikey lost their grandma, like we're all family. She actually, Turner and his grandfather had like a huge part in the band being where they are today. Like we would never have started touring if they hadn't, like they bought us our first van and we would have never started touring. So like when when he experienced that loss, like we felt it too. So we were just like, yeah, this is where the record needs to go.
What's the story behind the title of the album?
I wanted it to kind of be like the title to a movie that wasn't really a movie, an unfinished movie or a movie that was never made. And as soon as we finished the first record, that was the title I had in my head for the second. And I have the title for the third in my head now, so it's usually about the time I finish, or a few months after we finish the first record, that I get the title for the next one.
This record is almost a rock opera in a bizarre way. Maybe it wasn't intended to be like that, but it feels like that to me.
Working with Howard was a really cool experience.
Howard's very important as far as like teaching us the golden rules of song structure.
It's spelled Chorus.
I think my contribution to the songs is like I wrote all the songs on this record. No, I'm kidding. It's a producer joke.
They wanted to be as good as they could be in the studio, so I think they worked with Howard kind of in a kind of like a coach kind of way.
He was like our coach.
Yeah.
He was like a sports coach.
Like Howard, he was the kind of guy that'll challenge you, and even something to make you doubt, you know?
He made a lot of references to, what being in a band is like, and even making the record like, what is it, like a basketball team?
Yeah, like
like
plays
everybody,
and stuff.
Yeah, like everybody has, a specific role.
He would basically be like, what are you doing? Like, we'd come in and we'd be like, nah, dude, it's got this part that's like, no. And he'd be like, what does that part mean? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. Like, you're just confusing the shit out of me. Like,
we're like, that's the point.
That's the point. Remember how many times we said, that's the point?
None of this shit means anything. None of this stuff. Zero. Nothing. It's garbage. It means what you write and your intensity, what you have to say, and the emotional thing that you put out, that means something. Not, oh, wow, look at all these guitars. I can shred, Who cares? Nobody cares.
He would push you, like, you'd go to him and we'd all play a song, and he'd go, you'd be like, dude, he's gonna freaking love this,
Oh yeah, that was.
And he'd just be like, I don't get it. Or, you sure you want to do that part? Like you'd go in thinking, this is hot shit, dude. He would kind of bring you back down a little bit.
I think that band's work ethic was probably one of the best I've seen.
But they're very, very easy to work with in studio and very open-minded.
It makes you have that self-doubt. And a lot of times when you doubt yourself, you end up creating something better.
We would go to rehearsal, I would say to them, I think we need to write this new part, you need to write this new part, you need to come up with something. They would stay up all night and come back to rehearsal the next day with it finished and done. And the guitar players would come in, they were so excited to be in here, and they jumped around the room and played as hard as they could. Their work there, I think, was incredible, actually.
Song "The Ghost of You," it was arranged a little differently. From what I remember, the song has the bridge. It's like that quiet bridge, and then it comes in with like that, heavy drum beat, heavy like guitars come in like full force. And on the record, after that section, there's another chorus that comes up. And the way that we had originally arranged it was just the bridge into that heavy section, and then the song ends. Howard pushed for having another chorus there. And we all hated having that chorus in that song. We thought that the song was done, not into it at all. So me and Gerard were listening to the version that Howard had suggested with that chorus after that heavy part, and the bridge plays and that heavy part comes in, and then that last chorus kicked in, and we just both, like, our eyes lit up, and we just said, fuck, he's right. Like, it had like such a great impact.
after we figured out what he was trying to teach us, we learned it. He tried to teach us song structure, and once we learned that from him, we ran with it for a week and a half straight. We were like, yeah, we wrote like 5 or 6 more songs. We were way psyched.
We made the record, and we were on tour literally the next day.
We had Warped Tour.
So, this is your first time on the Warped Tour?
Yes.
You guys having fun so far?
It's been amazing. That's when I started to really get heavily involved in taking pills and drinking.
What kind of pills?
Xanax.
I'm not drunk. I'm a little loose, I'm fucking fine.
Gerard Way is an alcoholic.
It's just something that, unfortunately, I felt I had to do to be Gerard on stage.
I want this song to go out to them. It's very personal. It's about me and Mikey's grandma. And the motherfuckers call later. If you know the words, sing it with me.
Took a long time to get over that.
And he was completely wasted. I think his pants fell down.
Lost your pants again. It's that women's cut. They always fall down.
While I was tour managing The Used and managing My Chemical Romance at the same time, Gerard drinking was just Gerard drinking. That was what he did, and he progressively got worse and worse.
I need more beer.
I'm not even drunk.
You take the last beer?
You almost, well, you know, something I got in fall. There's only one left. I feel amazing.
You guys are so amazing.
I'm over-medicated. Took a few beers today, but only a few because it's so hot.
He would drink more and more and would get just loaded.
We got this shit already, man. Shit is easy peasy, pumpkin peasy. Pumpkin pie, motherfucker. That's it. Oh, Gerard. Don't fuck up. I've been down with kickball since the 3rd grade, man.
Simultaneously, the other members of the band were doing similar things, except for whoever had to drive.
It's basically me and Frank drinking beer. I think we're winning, but I'm really drunk, so. This kickball game. This is the most fun I've had. Because it was biblical, amazing, and dramatic. And I fucked up a little, but you know what? I was good.
That was the beginning of his downward spiral. Intervention wasn't working at that point. Like, my discussions with him just weren't. His band's discussions with him weren't. He wanted to be drunk. Okay, that's, you know, he was a growing boy with this weird position he was in where he was singing in this band that had grown up a little too fast.
He's alive! What happened was, I went right off the sidewalk and into the bushes. I was like, whoa! I fucking killed like so many plants. Alright, let's go.
I think you guys are all fucking coming out. So our record release show. There's so many friends and family here. I want to thank you all, you guys.
It was our record release show, and it was sold out. And I remember there was like something like 2,500 people there, and just like seeing that many people just moving in unison or singing along, it was so overwhelming.
Today is? What day?
2004.
What is it?
Day of our record release.
Okay.
I'm Joey Southside here to tell you about my friends in My Chemical Romance's new record, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
3 cheers for sweet revenge.
The funniest thing about 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge is that the label and I had agreed that if we could sell 300,000 copies, we would be happy.
The record just dropped. That's when I feel pretty extra excited.
And then, you know, the first week of sales, I had predicted 3,000, and we had no idea what was going to happen. And the very first day, we kept getting phone calls about how great things were going. And I think right about then is when we realized something weird was going to happen.
Over 11,000 records.
No! Holy shit! Dudes! Wow. That's more than we sold the first one.
Basically, it's like...
See, I think my mom bought most of it.
And the fact that the very first day it had sold twice as many as the entire record, the previous record had sold in its whole lifespan at that point, I think we realized that something big was about to happen.
I think she bought about 10,999.
You know, they just continued working through the summer.
You sold 9,000.
Yeah.
I was thinking your number 2 requested on K-Rock.
Oh!
That's awesome. Next to YouTube.
Wow!
John Candy.
And what's the fan?
And then it was just a flood of good news. They sold like 120,000 records through that summer.
Enter the lives of My Chemical Romance.
Kind of growing up with mom and dad, it was a weird kind of household. All of our families are pretty strange.
At the time of 9/11, Gerard was a recent art school grad who quit his job as a cartoonist to pursue the band full-time. His artwork graces the cover of their new CD, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, a concept album inspired by the band's love of horror flicks.
I watch a lot of bad movies and I read a lot of comic books. Sometimes think fiction is the best metaphor, and sometimes fiction's actually more fact.
You're gonna look at us. Here we are. There we are in San Francisco.
What magazine is that?
Max and Blender. With Dave Chappelle on a cover, which is pretty cool. I look good for a photo shoot, right?
Yeah. So what's gonna happen in the photo shoot?
We're gonna cover this blonde girl in blood. She doesn't even know it yet.
We're gonna hook you up. It's really boring, you know? It's just like every other photo shoot we've ever done. They're always boring. It's just stupid band shots on stairs. Us trying to look tough.
Little bloody? There was a point where, seriously, every single photo shoot that we were doing had some form of blood in there.
I can't think of one that hasn't.
You're into that? You no problem?
Well, I don't have any problems with it. The only thing is we've done 2 shoots with blood already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The first one was we had bloody cheerleaders.
Okay.
And so blood wasn't on us. But the second one we did for Kerrang, there was blood like on our hands.
Because that was like the main sort of like idea I had.
Yeah.
Take that away from me, I'm screwed.
That's partially our fault. It is, really is. Because when we started doing the photo shoots, I know one of the first ones was, let's cover ourselves in blood.
Wow, that's dope blood.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking amazing. Let's start shooting. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
I'm sick of seeing my face. But I am allowed to be sick of seeing my face because it's my fucking face. You know what I'm saying?
What happened?
Are you drinking tonight? Come on, let's get fucking later, baby. I need liquor.
The amount of pills I've taken, cataracts of booze I've drinking, and this vanity I'm breaking. Let me live my life like that, so when I find it hard to stay.
Hey Gerard, I filmed you puking.
I know. I saw you were like way far over there.
Yeah, he's gonna puke again.
It took about a little less than a year and he hit rock bottom. So when he hit rock bottom, it was about a week worth of rock bottomness in July of 2004. They were in the Midwest, which was Central Time, and I was in Brooklyn, which is Eastern Time, and so a lot of 5 a.m. phone calls.
I didn't want the band to ever go through like a VH1 behind the music scenario, where it's like, then everything collapsed. I didn't want that to happen.
first couple times were him, I think, opening up a little bit and saying, I have a problem. Second couple times were him fighting that he had a problem. And the last time was him wanting to kill himself.
It made me suicidal, which is, you know, I had been suicidal a couple times in my life, and not this bad. To the point where you start thinking about it as an escape route. That's when it gets serious. When you're like, well, if anything really bad ever happens, I'll just do this and it'll be fine and it'll be able to go away. So that was where booze and pills had gotten.
I don't think I got off the phone until 7:30 in the morning or so. And he had done a lot of drugs, and he had admitted to me that it wasn't just the pills and the booze. He had moved on to cocaine, and that's it's like a slap in the face. You kind of go, oh, shit.
People need to live their lives the way they want, and it's fine. I don't want to be preachy. Like, if people like to drink, that's awesome. It just doesn't work for me.
And that last phone call where he was going to kill himself, I had to talk him out of it. I talked him down, and I waited till some of the drugs had worn off, and told him to go wake up his tour manager, who was out sleeping. And he went and woke up the tour manager, and they went for a walk.
Well, my band really believed in me, and because of that, they had saved my life again.
Jerry and he had a little walk, and I called Jerry and explained to him what had happened. And Jerry's a straight edge guy, and didn't pass judgment for a second. Wasn't upset because Gerard had done it behind his back. Wasn't bummed out because it wasn't his lifestyle. Jerry got him through the next 2 hours until Gerard finally passed out in his bunk.
I wanted us to win, and I wanted us to do some good, fight the good fight, keep fighting the good fight. And the only way I knew I could do that was just by quitting.
Gerard cleaned up, he's completely sober.
From that time until he was clean and sober was about 17 days.
Is music really what's allowed you to keep going?
Yep. This band saved my life twice. And
what do you mean twice?
Well, in the beginning, because I was so depressed, and then again when I was an alcoholic. It saved my life. It gave me a purpose, which I was sorely lacking in my life, and it was damaging who I was, and to the point where I was going to be nothing. So it saved my life, and it's there to save other people's lives.
He's doing an amazing job cleaning up. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing a really good job.
Why were you late? Because we wanted to eat at a diner. Not drinking, not partying.
Just eating.
Just wanted to have a veggie burger.
I'm just glad I got over the fact that I felt like I needed it to be in this band, especially a band that's called My Chemical Romance, right? Isn't that ironic?
And for the last night I lied, could I lie with you? That's the hardest part living.
If you or someone you know are severely depressed, you need to fucking talk to somebody. Your best friend, your mom, somebody in school. I don't give a fuck. Because pissing away your life on suicide is fucking bullshit.
Since the face-to-face tour, a lot's changed. We have a new drummer named Bob from Chicago we love very much. I got clean and sober basically, and that made the shows change pretty dramatically because my singing got a lot better.
So it was two huge changes for our band.
We've become a new band. Bob joined at a really integral point in My Chemical Romance because nobody was really sure what was going to happen with us. Gerard was getting sober, and we had lost our drummer.
And when that decision was made, and Gerard was wasted, and the record was starting to do what it was doing, which was make an impact and be, this thing, all I could keep thinking in my head was, fuck, here it goes. It's gonna be just one of those legendary records that never was because the band's not gonna make it through it.
When I got clean and sober, which is August 11th, we had to go on tour 7 days later. Not only with a new drummer, but literally a new singer. Because I had never played a show sober. It was terrifying. That first show was...
I didn't know what was gonna happen right now. Like, I was really happy that Bob was around, but I remember those first couple shows and I was like, oh man.
Don't even worry about it, dude. These kids don't give a fuck. They just want to see a good fucking show.
You guys ready for My Chemical Romance?
And then 3 shows in though, I was like,
an old band again.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is what it always should have been.
It kind of was like the tornado was over.
Japan, and our label there gave us the record, which comes with a DVD, and it's got the Summer Sonic concert on it, and that was Gerard's last show, Drunk. And I watched that, and we had our old drummer too, which was the other half of the equation. Like, I watched that, and I was like, this isn't even us anymore. Like, we don't look anything like that, we don't play anything like that, and we don't act anything like that. I was like, this is like a completely different band. I actually didn't watch it, I turned it off after that song.
I want to hear you all say, Buongiorno, like that, okay? 1, 2, 3!
We've known Bob for a long time. He was the Used sound guy.
We met good old Bob on tour with the Used.
Oh dear. Alright. What is this? This is the line.
Bob was still doing sound. He was out with the Used.
I used to always beg Brian to have Bob come out and do something for us. I used to beg and plead. He's like, no, we can't afford it. I was like, he'll do it for free, he said.
Bob loves My Chemical Romance. Bob went to Europe with us for free when he was off tours one time, just because, you know, that was another tour where it's just myself and the band and Bob was doing sound.
He's definitely one of the best front of house sound guys in the business. Like, he's mixed Thrice, The Used, so many great bands, and you know, he's made these bands sound phenomenal.
He had a career, like he had like a good paying job.
Yeah, I did. And they came out with us and went into debt.
Our dear brother and best friend in the whole world, Bob Breyer on the drums. It's deathly ill today. He just got in from the emergency room. We're gonna see how many fucking songs we can rock you with. I got a feeling that Bob is gonna do all of them. And they found you on the bathroom floor. I miss you
The thing is, too, we had just been going by what we had heard from him. We didn't even know. We heard he was an amazing drummer.
Yeah, we'd never heard him
or seen him play. So it was definitely a leap of faith, but we heard him, and right away we knew he was going to be great for this band.
I think they did the record, and then they went to Japan. And while they were in Japan is when, like, the decision was made. They started kind of comments about being in the band, and then the official offer was put out. Do you want to be in the band? And I said, hell yeah. And then they got back from Japan. As soon as they got back, the day they got back from Japan, I flew out. I was on that Project Revolution tour. I left that tour to go to Jersey for like a rehearsal day.
But we didn't have much time. What did we have? Like 2 or 3 days to actually rehearse?
I don't think we even had
went
that.
out on
We
the
had
tour.
like-
It was like 2 days.
We had like two
nights.
Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2.
And he was able to do it. Like,
we had 3 practices. And
3 practices.
We
went
played
out.
a show.
Yeah, we went out face to face.
And they were pretty mad at me for them not having more time, but we canceled a few shows because of it all. And my theory on it was it's your fault that you have to cancel shows because you can't work out your problems internally, but it's not the fans' fault and they shouldn't suffer because of it, so goodbye, go on tour.
And now you feel you're here to stay?
I hope so.
Unless your friends fire you.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Bob joined the band, and before Bob had ever played a show, we filmed a Not Okay video.
You like D&D, Audrey Hepburn, Fangoria, Harry Houdini, and croquet. You can't swim, you can't dance, and you don't know karate. Face it, you're never gonna make it.
I don't want to make it. I just want to.
And then Not Okay came along, which was our first technically real video shoot because it involved a lot of money, a lot of people.
So Bob had done a major rock music video before ever playing a single show with My Chemical Romance.
I haven't even had a show yet.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We did that before the face-to-face tour?
Yes.
If you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. I never want to let you down or have you go. It's better off this way.
That was the first time, well, I guess it would be the second time we played together. We had the one rehearsal day and then went straight to the video.
And that was pretty sketchy because, you know, while I love Bob and while Bob's a great drummer, we still were never sure that Bob was going to be the drummer in My Chemical Romance.
I wasn't even in the band yet. I was kind of just the dude that was just kind of playing. I've been to a lot of other video shoots, being on the other side, and then being in front of the camera was extremely weird for me.
Don't hit the camera.
People have told me that whenever there's a camera around, I tend to go the other way.
Tend to go the other way, or
I hit it, or I kick
Hit your
it,
hand in front of your
or I smash it.
I'm so mad. Pull the camera away from me.
Stop filming.
Come on. Well, stop being so Get off of me. Fucking get that fucking piece of shit off of me.
Let me see it. Hold it up. Hold it up. The camera's on me, dog.
Stop. 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 Stop.
Bob's a behind-the-scenes guy. That's why Bob had to go from being behind-the-scenes guy to a guy thrust into the limelight.
Like a superhero.
Super Bob. I've always been a guy that's kind of been on the other side of the camera.
What are you doing, bro?
Just filming.
Yeah, you're a man of many talents.
I know. Bob cam.
Sound, drumming.
I got a steady hand here.
Whoa. Steady hand.
Bob cam.
Get out of here, Bob Cam. Okay.
There's Mikey. There's Rock.
What's up, dude?
Yo, party time. Excellent.
and it all worked out for the better.
Trust me.
Got through it.
Yeah, no, he pulled it off great. Like everybody, you know, in the band gets close-up shots where the camera's just kind of focused on what they were doing, and we just had, we had a blast watching them play.
And so it seems like all of the hardships of that time period were almost a test. It was almost like, look, you have this special thing, you have this special band, you have this great, amazing record. Can you make it through it? And if you do, you know, like, it's like Candyland. If you get past the bad people, then all of a sudden you get the lollipop or something.
Hey, this is Gerard from My Chemical Romance. You're listening to our new song, I'm Not Okay, on Man Cow's Morning Madhouse on the Free Speech Radio Network.
I love the video. The video's great.
Thank you
Very
very
cool.
much. Thank
Keeps
you
you watching because it keeps building and
We had a
right.
lot of fun making it. It was really collaborative. You know what I mean? The guy who did it was really good. He did a bunch of videos.
You know what, dude? Don't give anyone else credit. If you're going to be a lead singer, it's all about you. You got to dust these guys, take credit for everything. That's what you do. We're at the very genesis of this young man's career. It all starts here, ladies and gentlemen. Where do we go from here, kid? Where do we go?
Right here. No idea.
You guys see you guys in the paper this morning?
I didn't.
Oh, I'll show
awesome.
you. There you go. You guys want to take a peek? It was in the Friday section of this morning's Cleveland Plain Dealer. And they actually wrote very highly of it. My Chemical Romance. The CD's called Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Right at the Award tonight. Story of the year.
Oh man, there it is. Oh man,
it's hot.
Yeah, it is. It looks awesome.
That's good, man.
Oh shit! Look.
Look at, they're in the same cover as Kid Rock. Look
Kid
at that.
Rock.
I mean,
Perfect choice.
Insane Clown Posse, and they're on the same cover.
How is that here? See? This is huge.
We want to stop by and say and everything.
Certainly, it's good singing. It's good.
It don't have to be that way with us anyway. Like all of a sudden, it was like the My Chemical Romance explosion happening. It's weird, like you know, you're never sure if your band's gonna get to that point where you start playing a lot of TV, and then we did, and we really felt like Martians at that point.
We're going to MTV Studios to record a live performance for, what is it? Something and download?
Discover and download. Oh, there's something that's going to air on regular MTV. Yeah, called Discover and Download. And we played this thing in their studio, the TRL studio, and Chad from New Found Glory hosted it. And it was a great time.
It felt like something really bizarre and new.
I think we're playing with the Libertines and some rapper. So it should be kind of
one of 50 Cent's crew.
Oh, so
one of the G units. Yeah.
I'm very excited. How white am I?
I know.
Oh, nice. Pretty white.
It's really weird. It's one of those things that like you dream about, I guess, when you're playing guitar in front of your mirror.
It's kind of weird. I've never played like any of these like weird tape things, but it was great. A lot of fun. After a couple songs, you kind of warm up. Like, yeah, I want to play all night. It's good though. I really like it.
And your parents get to watch you on TV, and that's the best part. Yeah. Because then they call you up and they go, "I'm so proud of you." It's awesome because our parents are so supportive of us.
Hey, Mr. Cameraman, what's going on?
Oh, right. Look at this. Look at the camera. Camera, look at the camera. That's my mom.
This is my great uncle, this is my grandfather, and that's my dad.
I am very proud of him. I really am. I'm a musician, and I never ever dreamed of him having the success that he's having now. And I didn't want him to get into this because I knew what a tough life it was. So he really took the ball and ran with it.
So cool. You have your dad, your grandfather, and your uncle, all kind of little family fan club almost.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
Oh, they'll come with like stickers and stuff. Can you sign this for my friend's son?
Oh yeah.
You got 2 shows.
You want to come both or? No, I'm not. Uncle Jack's daughter.
And my father's a musician.
I'm surprised. I think he has more energy than anybody I've ever seen. It's unbelievable.
So weird, because my grandfather has like a refrigeration business, and like he'll deal with clients and be like, "They knew who you guys were, and see, you guys are really big, And I'm like, "Oh man, it's so weird."
They do such a magnificent job. That's the entire group.
Our flight's at 6:30 in the morning.
Not 7:30.
Maybe at 4:30?
So we have to be there at 4:30.
So we might as well, if you guys want, we can just go to the airport.
You have to leave MTV, go to your hotel, to get on a plane to fly to your venue where there's a bus that you can go to sleep on. Wait till you fly from here to the UK to Japan, Japan to Hawaii, and then Hawaii back to the US.
Yeah.
All in one day.
It's early and I'm tired.
This fucking plane is too fucking small, man.
This you know the Nintendo Fusion Tour had lots of Nintendo benefits?
Yeah, we got, first day they gave us a GameCube.
Free Nintendo. Where? That's who the sponsors the tour is, Nintendo.
They just recently gave us Donkey Konga, the bongo game.
Oh! No!
Okay. Alright.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Keep watching this shit.
It's already open. What is it? I know what it is. Oh, so excited. Oh! Huge. Thank you. Your Batmobile. Whoa, you got a Batmobile? Little lady for it. Oh, damn, Bob took this old lady out.
Yo, Frankie, hold it up.
Hold it up, bro. Fuck yeah! Atari flashback? That's your dog. Oh my god!
What, Mr. Bean? Whoa! Yo, see, only Mr. Bean I don't have.
For the hamster that was fine!
I told you I was a kid.
This is so perfect!
We are so far from you.
This was the tough one. This was the big one. This was the video where we were like, all right, this is gonna be a touchy one.
Helena is, probably, one of like the favorite song off the record for everybody because it has so much, so much meaning behind it.
We wanted the video to be like a homage to my grandmother, but we also didn't want it to be that much of a super downer, She wouldn't have liked it to be a super downer.
What's the worst that I can say? Since I'm very
The song is celebrating someone's life, and when someone passes, you should focus on all the good that person has done and try not to, really think about the fact that they're not going to be on this earth any longer, but that they had an effect on you and your lives, and that's what you should take out of it.
When I watched Tracy do the dance on the little screen while they were filming it, I got so emotional I had to leave. It was really hard for me to watch. Carrying that coffin in the rain was really, really tough on everybody. It was a miserable, miserable video shoot, but it had to be. And it was most representative of the band visually and artistically, I think.
I mean, they did the Helena shoot and they walked away from that video shoot with those outfits.
We had just gotten our Helena costumes. So we decided to start wearing them because we really liked the way we looked. We kind of started to feel like a gang.
That kind of kicked it off. They kind of became this band that was going to have a uniform. Not as in like, we're all going to look the same. It was, we're going to look sweet. So they started developing it. When I first started talking to My Chemical Romance, when I first started talking to Gerard, they never had any money. They never had any means, so they had to hodgepodge it together.
I think I'm just gonna wear maybe my new Mummy t-shirt.
Oh, where'd you get it? Ziphead?
Yeah.
What size? Do they have
smalls, I think. Mummy,
Leather jacket destroyed, fell apart due to sweat.
Wait till your friends see this. They're gonna call you a girl. Pansy.
And then they did the Helena shoot, and it was all over.
You need to wear your white shoes with that.
Huh?
Yeah, you need to wear your those white loafers.
Fuck, yeah, those shoes. Sweet.
Fuck! I forgot to get hand sanitizer. Fuck you.
How do I look? Dead as fuck.
How do you feel about this?
I like it. I think it looks good.
Yeah, it's kind of bulky.
Getting all partied up.
Do you have glitter in that?
Yeah. What are you doing? Don't TV stream my hair.
What's the
Taping you getting ready for the show.
Don't TV stream my hair.
Why not?
Because I want you to.
I tried my hair straightened and it just didn't work.
I like it straight, but it just looks thick.
I'm just weird with the way I look. I don't think I look good anyway, so.
You look good.
Who takes the longest in the mouth to get ready for shows?
It's probably me. I mean, I get, it takes me 2 hours.
Don't let your eye get tweaky. Come on.
Can't help it.
Stop.
I can't help it.
Stare at one point.
Deal with it.
Stare. Look down. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Do you wear a similar style for an entire tour and then change it the next one, or is it all just spontaneous?
It's all very spontaneous, but just by the way I am, I change things constantly.
Now, it's just gonna keep going.
I want to get like the run of their fucking eyeshadows. If I could get some white too from them, that'd be way sweet.
Are those new pants?
Yeah, these new tight pants.
Oh, that's shot.
Get this, scope that, man, huh?
What is that?
Oh god!
For some reason, they don't wash their clothes, or they won't get them dry cleaned, and I don't know why. And I keep telling them to buy new outfits or doubles or duplicates, and they just don't do it.
It smells awful!
You're a hot motherfucker, but you know what I'm saying is that hot also brings stench. Like pigs in the mud, they gotta cool down.
Do you see anything wrong down there? Eating normally, showering, and sleeping all aren't worked out into your day when you're in a band.
Everything on this bus stinks.
You do find out though that like a hot shower kind of makes you feel like a human being again.
Life on the Warped Tour, taking a shower outside.
I'm going to show you my big fat up in the ass too. This is the worst. It's like trying to wash your ass. I haven't showered and it's going to be 7 days tomorrow.
Did you overflow the toilet?
It's overflowing.
Real fucking funny.
Hey, D-Pain.
Oh my god, oh jeez.
You gotta love somebody to smell them at their worst for
I get
weeks
pretty
on
gruesome
end.
too.
You ever thought about washing it?
I did. I just washed it. And then I wore it once. It smells like this. There's something wrong. It shouldn't smell like this after one wear.
It smells like there's shit in there.
But not us.
We had a huge meeting. The bus is always dirty. Poor Doug has just given up trying to clean the bus, and he's laughing, but he knows it's true because there's no room for anything. And because we fucking live like animals.
We live with each other. We're in each other's faces.
We sleep
24/7
with each other.
Yeah, that's it. It's been us versus the world.
Bob, ow! Ow, my head.
Are you gonna get out? Are you gonna get out? Oh, you got a little reading material there ready tomorrow?
That's not much.
Sleeping in the bunk area, it's not that bad because we were in a van for 2.5 years, sleeping on each other.
Bunks rule.
Peeing on yourselves, wasted, covered in dirt, grime, shit, piss, everything. So when the first time we got our bunks, we were like, hell yeah. And we still feel that way about them. We've been on them a long time now.
Gerald, what are you doing?
Heating up my coffee. I wake up and I drink a lot of fucking coffee all day, and I smoke a lot of fucking cigarettes, and it sucks.
What are you doing?
Drink coffee, smoke alone,
Freezing. Just have a day in the life of Gerard.
Going to get coffee.
What Gerard sees.
Going to get coffee. That's all it me.
Some people choose to live by coffee. Monkey chooses to live by coffee.
Gotta choose your poisons.
I like Starbucks. I know people are gonna hate me for saying it, but
No, man, you can't.
it's so damn good.
Coffee's one of those things that my body is now physically and mentally addicted to.
How do you get this fucking filter thing? Oh, here it is. Sorry.
It's my only vice left, you know, I don't drink or anything, I don't do drugs.
Hey, you gonna take this order in our coffee?
Hell yes.
We send runners for like lattes.
That's what we do.
Are you guys avid readers?
Yeah, we're all pretty big readers.
Except for me.
All right, what are you doing?
Reading about video games.
I like reading comic books. We read a lot of comic books.
Did you find any good books? No. Any good magazines?
Now you want to go look at me?
Yeah.
What do we got here? Cracked Magazine.
Have you ever read it?
I used to read this all the time as a kid. It was one of the worst magazines in the world. It was like, we're not as funny as Mad.
This for you right here.
Oh, thank you.
And you like comics?
Whoa, badass. Thanks, man. This is gonna rip.
What are you doing, John?
Fucking drawn.
It's Hellboy.
Yeah, it is Hellboy. I'm actually a huge fan of Hellboy.
Oh, what are you doing?
Doing a little French art. Rocks out France. Fuck that. I don't want that there.
Scary vampire, frightening mummy. What are you drawing this for, Gerard? Fans? Fans.
Kids at what contest? I'm working on a comic.
You know what it's gonna be about?
Superheroes. Because I never did superheroes before.
What is this?
What's my superhero comic I'm working on? It's kind of like the X-Men.
You were mentioning a couple of their names and stuff.
Yeah, this one I'm working on called The Seance, and he's a guy who he uses a Ouija board to contact dead superheroes, and he gets their powers when they possess him. Fucking draw city.
Legitimate, dude.
Legitimate. And I got this guy called, I think I'm gonna call him the Darwinist or something, or Dr. Darwin. And he's a guy that got in an accident, and they had to put his head on the body of a gorilla. And he has to wear this kind of apparatus to keep himself alive, kind of like an iron lung. But he gets all the abilities of like a superhuman gorilla.
If you could have any other job besides the band, what would it be and why?
I'd probably illustrate stuff.
Do you have an outlet to get your stuff published?
No, but I'm sure it wouldn't be hard now. Even though I kind of got shit on for years in the comic industry, I'm pretty sure I'd have an easy time.
Oh, wow. Bass player.
Getting one out now.
You guys having a good time tonight?
Are you amazed and surprised that like people have picked up on you guys the way they have and things have really steamrolled?
I think what's cool about us too is I mean, me and Gerard are like 27. We've gotten past the point. Look at it, I just put my hand in a cupcake. We've gotten past that point, you know, like, and that's not a concern for us. The main concern, I think, for us is just being successful and making good music and just making this thing last as long as it needs to last.
1 minute, guys.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Get it going on.
And then came TRL, which was
Was
terrifying.
so weird.
Terrifying, because it's live TV.
You know, some people might question why we played it, but it was on, you know, we kind of wanted to do it as kind of like a fuck you, and to, you know, to show that bands like us, you know, could do things like that and make it fun and make it cool.
TRL gets real weird, especially when you stand on top of a drum, fall off like an idiot, and ruin the backbone of the set of the song.
We got about halfway through that song, which is live on TV, and Frank ended up on top of my kick drum.
And then inside it,
and then jumped off and pulled half of my drum set off the riser. And I finished the song. I just made up shit.
Yeah, you did the kick parts on the top.
Yeah, I was just making up stuff.
Bob, thankfully, used his tom as a bass drum, and we made it through that song. And it was our first experience with having to get escorted by police to our van. Because it was just like New York City police officers having to keep fans back, and You look out the window, you just saw people lining the streets and sharing.
Jumbotrons with Gerard's face on there. Like there was a taxi cab with like a My Chemical Romance like ad on top.
Yeah, it was
Oh, dude. I felt like I was a Ghostbuster. That's famous. Ghostbuster famous.
Yeah, Ghostbuster.
What was after that?
Taste of Chaos was the next one.
All right.
You're on the Taste of Chaos tour right now. It's gonna be Us, The Used. Killswitch Engage.
Killswitch Engage!
Stab Lullaby.
A static lullaby! My brothers from New Jersey. Senses fail! This song goes out to all them and to all of you!
This was the most fun tour we've been on, I think.
What's your most memorable moment on Taste of Chaos?
This moment right now.
Right now.
Because it's fresh in my memory.
Just getting a My Chemical Romance tattoo.
We're gonna check it out, dog. So how do you feel about what's going on over there with Danny Payne's tattoo?
Sick tats, brah.
You see what he's getting?
A grenade with a banner that says revenge.
And on top of the grenade it says NCR. That looks fucking hot. How you doing? Good, alright. Yeah? Frank, how do you feel about that tattoo?
I feel awesome, but I love this Playgirl pose he's got going on too.
That's the best part, really, right?
I don't think the Taste of Chaos tour was as important to the band as that time period was important to the band, because that was really where everything crescendoed and kind of hit this point. They really did go out there and kind of just show everybody why My Chemical Romance was going to be here to stay.
How does that even feel? Is that strange? I saw you guys on TRL. It was so weird.
It's weird. We don't really see how successful stuff is, you know? We just hear about it, so.
So you know how many people are here tonight?
How many?
7,500?
7,500, huh?
A lot of people.
Come on, Bob, you're ready.
10 minutes.
Alright, let's all go.
So what you had was My Chemical Romance having commercial success happening and needing to go on stage every single night and show people why success was happening.
Seem to be somewhat into it.
Don't you feel better?
A little bit.
Give that for that is ridiculous.
Way into this. Right. Who's that sexy beast?
Bob Bryan.
I can tell this band learned a lot, because when they came in and did the Used thing with them with Under Pressure, Gerard, just the singing was so amazing. It was, holy cow. I mean, totally different singer. The guitar player, Ray and Frank and everybody, the drummer is a new drummer, tremendous drummer. They were so confident in here. They were just confident, and I could feel it coming out of them that they had grabbed it by the teeth.
Okay, I'm gonna read your mind right now about what your favorite band is. My Chemical Romance.
What about the chicks and the drugs?
No, we're not into chicks and drugs. Some of us may have been into a little bit of drugs beforehand.
You know, there's this thing, and that's rock and roll, and we're just so anti-rock and roll. Given some European interviews, we're like, so you guys get lots of groupies, and we're like, fuck you, man. Yeah, there's no show us your tits.
No. Sign it. Sign it.
Great tour.
Yeah. Oh. Matt. Yeah.
Well, something had happened on Taste of Chaos where there was like a local band, and they were going. I think their record label pushed them to go around with a video camera and get girls to show their tits for backstage passes. And not only that, that the video was going to also be seen by My Chemical Romance. Shit. I lost my fucking cool. And decided that that's what I was going to say on stage that night.
If you ever see shitty-ass rock dudes in shitty-ass rock bands asking you to show them your tits for a backstage pass, I want you to spit right in their fucking face and yell, "Fuck you!"
Women being objectified and just so many bad things that are just inherent and ingrained in it that don't have to be that way.
I just wanted to say hi. Hi. I'm really excited to see you.
How long have you been listening to My Chemical Romance?
For like ever. I've seen them 11 times. My eyes are swollen because all I wanted for my birthday was a picture with Gerard Way. Yeah.
Very well.
So you go to a My Chem show and like there's not a groupie thing.
Get off of me!
There's no groupies, you know what I mean? That's the best part about My Chemical Romance fans.
What's your name? Oh. Let me see the side of it. Oh. Wow. Have you read the new Ellen DeGeneres book yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How is it?
It made me a lesbian. I only date girls now.
I can't hang with that.
You need to have an open mind, my friend.
Alright, now for this song, I want to see your lighters and your cell phones up in the fucking air, please. Alright, you guys do better than that. It's fucking New York. Everybody's got a cell phone. Now when the song starts, we're going to slam back and forth. This song is called The Ghost of You.
Yeah, I'm into lighters because that's tradition.
Yeah, that's more.
It's modernizing it with these cell phones.
That's more big hair rock. You like the cell phone?
It's brighter.
Oh, that's true.
It does look damn cool.
I prefer lighters, but cell phones are the new lighter.
Today is the last day of Taste of Chaos. I'm very upset.
This tour's been the best tour of my life.
I'm gonna miss it, man.
I love touring with My Chem. It's probably my favorite band in the whole world to tour with, and like family.
I'm actually, I don't want to go to Europe. I'd rather stay here.
And then they went to the UK.
Scream for me, London!
It's a great way to celebrate my birthday. I think that's one of the main reasons I wanted to do 2 shows in one day. I thought it's the perfect day to do it in London on my birthday. It's kind of exciting, you know. It's a great city with a lot of history, great kids. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not even tired. I definitely can do another.
The band was playing 2 sold-out shows in London at the Astoria, and the record company wanted to do this funeral procession, and I have no idea why. I think they wanted to see if they could pull it off, and it was just insanity.
You know, we've always said we wanted to be more theatrical. So it's actually like less of a stunt and more of, you know, it's an expression of like what's going on in the band, what's happening live, like how we want to become a more theatrical band.
Like there's this huge funeral procession that looks like it's from 1918 moving down the streets in London in the middle of a Saturday afternoon, and then the hearse died, and they had to physically push the hearse the rest of the way.
I think in the fall when we finally do our headliner, we'll really be able to bring a lot more of those elements into it.
Gerard said, let's look into what we can do to make it sure that as we're growing as a band, that our fans are getting their money's worth. We decided that we were going to reenact Helena in a live show. Gerard wanted to see what it would be like to involve dancers because rock and roll has, for the past 5 years, in our humbled opinions, become very boring and non-risky.
And then hopefully we'll have production that we can bring with us and make it more theatrical, I think. That's the goal.
The great thing about My Chemical Romance is that they continually are pushing themselves to not do the same thing again. They're just really creative guys, and I just have total faith that, like any great artist that has a long career, you see, you know, change occur over time.
The Ghost of You video.
Whew. Ghost of You.
I had this idea where, like, fucking World War II. I don't know. It's just like, it has to be something and nobody's gonna expect.
He was like, it's gonna be World War II. We're gonna be soldiers. And he said, in the shit. He's like, we're gonna be in the shit. And I was like, man, that's so, like, these random thoughts pop out of his head all the time. That was one of them that was just genius, you know?
And I was like, I'll even chop all my goddamn hair off. I don't care. And so it started to get excited about it. I kind of suckered Mark into this, too. I was like, well, I'm thinking the next video is more like a movie and less like a video. You think he could do World War II? And he's kind of sat there, and I was like, I mean, like Saving Private Ryan. Can you recreate that? And he was like, yeah, I think I can. And he did.
Fucking did it real well.
He did. You know, so he got roped into it.
You got everything down.
Yeah.
Like, everything. The way it looked, like, the depression of it.
Oh, here's a little story. So we're on tour with Green Day. So I'm talking to Trey, I think, and he's like, yeah, we shot this video, and we recreated the conflict in Iraq. It's like the war in Iraq, you know. It's like, it's, you know, it's just all war footage and stuff. And
we were just like,
oh, man, fuck, you know. So I went to Billy a week later, and I had the treatment, or a couple days later, and I said, look, I heard about your video, but we were going to make this video. He goes, why don't you sit with me and watch our video? So he sat me down, he showed me the video, and I actually almost cried because it's really upsetting. It's a phenomenal video. But I was relieved because the videos are nothing alike. And the beauty of it, though, is they were making the same statement, this anti-war statement, you know? And it was cool because he kind of like gave us his blessing, was very happy that we were making a statement.
When the band was on tour with Green Day, we started discussing the next record. And I said, okay, let's get another bus and rip the back half out of it. And you can put a studio in. And so what they do is spend most of their days back there writing new material.
The bass. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, why'd you do...
That's what's throwing you off?
Wait. I think it's throwing everything off. Like it's throwing stuff off.
How about I just do this?
Yeah, you can mute it. Yeah.
I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Do you just want it so you can just record to the, like, to completely erase the program drums?
Yes.
I'm just afraid that it's not going to be able to record. You know what I'm saying?
Choruses, certain ones don't have vocals.
We're gonna rock out, dude, big time.
Alright.
I'm very excited, guy.
Ready?
Production's great. The sound is great. Fucking amazing.
That's supposed to be a double chorus.
Okay. Singing?
Not yet. No vocals yet.
Okay. Oh my god, that's fucking amazing, you guys. That's amazing. And the production. Ray, that's amazing production. This feels like a record.
Thank you so much for that.
When I saw My Chemical Romance at Maxwell's in Hoboken, there's not a fucking chance in the world that any of us would have ever thought that they would be playing at Long Beach Arena and round the corner to receive gold records.
Where's my phone?
How's that, Mikey Way?
Never thought I'd actually get this.
Thank you for fucking believing in us more than anybody else in the whole world. Thank you for making us the most dangerous band in rock and roll. We're gonna make your label the most dangerous label in rock and roll.
It's a dream at that point. You've really lived a dream.
I wouldn't change anything for the world. It's probably the greatest experience that anyone could ever have.
I know I do this because I love playing music with the people that I get to play music with. There's no feeling in the world, no better feeling in the world, I think, than being able to play on stage with these guys.
If there were a movie made about your band, about your life, what would the story be like, and like the ending even?
I think the ending would be really good, and I think in the end everybody would kind of go back to normal, doing what they do before the band, or maybe something new, like living in the woods, or like writing children's books, or Bob would be probably an airline pilot, or something. I'd like to think that when this band is through, like everybody's lives would go back to normal, and not that we're not happy right now, but like, you know, I'd like to think that everybody's gonna have a really good life when the band's done.